So we haven't done a video in a little while. I felt like doing one today, simply because this is probably the most important part of the build, is getting the structure up, getting the framework up and the roof on. So as you can see, we've already laid the floor. This is a ground rod system, which I've shown plenty of videos of this in the past. If you want to have a look at them, just go over to YouTube or Facebook and find them. Phil is setting out the base plate and the top plate of the wall, of the back wall. We're doing this with 4x2 treated timbers. Our intermediate uprights are all at 400 centres. This is simply because of plasterboard. We do that because then we can use full sheets rather than cutting them off on wastage. Unfortunately, the OSB is still given to us in imperial sizes, 4 foot by 8 foot, which means that we have to rip 20mm off the side and 40mm off the top, which isn't the end of the world. We're using the majority of the board, so it's better to do it for plasterboard reasons rather than the OSB. So what we do now is, as you can see, Phil's just pulled those two apart. He's already cut all of our uprights. Our uprights are 2100 millimeters, and they go in between. What we do then is we use a Pasload first fix nailer to bang that framework together. Now, on its own, you're going to have awful racking. Nothing's going to be stable. So what we tend to do is we cut the OSB to size, minus the 20mm, and then we fix that. And now, because that came from the factory machine, we know that that is perfect. It's a perfect right angle. So we then line it up at the top and one side, and then you can't go wrong. You set that all the way across. Once we stand our wall up, because we know our base is perfectly level, laser level, we have a perfectly plumb wall. We'll show all of that in a little bit of detail in this video now. We're using a 90mm ring shank galvanized nail in our Pasload first fix nailers. Here we go. So this is all we rip off of the OSB, so you can see why it's worth doing it that way rather than doing it with plasterboard, which is a nightmare to get rid of in the current waste climate, if you like. So yeah, this is just timber, so basically we rip off 20mm and that just goes in the skip with the remainder of the rubbish. So I've cut the 20mm off the edge, I've laid it down. It's now exactly 1.2, which, because our upright timbers are at 400 centres, that means that we are going to end in the middle of one of these uprights. So like I said, we plate off one edge with the framework to make sure that we're completely flush with that, and then we pin that, and then we'll do the same with the side, and that effectively means that our framework is at a true 90 degrees. Obviously at the minute all I've done is nail around the perimeter of the board, but the reason we do it this way is because we know our uprights are at 400 centres. We can lay them all on and then we can measure again 400, mark that, and then we can pin our intermediates. Piece of timber and mark it if you want, or just use a simple chalk line, which is what we tend to do. So usually we'd be tight up against the boundary and we'd have to put our finishing cladding on. In this case, it's quite fortunate because we have got a gap down the back. The back of the garden isn't a rectangle or a square, which means we are building a square room. That allows us basically to get down the back with our metal sheet cladding and do it once the walls are up. It makes the wall a little bit lighter, a little bit more manageable. We can kick it into place, pin it down, and not worry about it falling back on ourselves without propping it. So because we've got a slight overhang on the OSB, which means that the OSB drops down past our base only by 50mm. We simply do that just because when we stand it up, we know our perfect line to go to. We push that tight against it, and then we can bang a few screws down, pop a few nails in. We know that wall's not going to go anywhere. It's a hex head, and that just gives it a little bit more of a better fixing. We're going straight down into our wall plate timber, so it's a real good fixing in there. Again, we know this wall isn't going to go anywhere. Phil can be safe in the knowledge now, knowing the wall's not going to fall anywhere. So after setting out the base, we haven't used a level once with these walls. We're simply relying on the geometry that goes into building these walls. Now, like I said, we've got our base laser level perfect. And we know that these OSB boards are machined to a true 90-degree right angle. So we use that method, stand our walls up. If our base is level that way and it's level that way, and we know we've got a 90-degree angle, we know that this wall is completely plumb. And we know that when we put this onto this one, because we put the OSB on the back and they almost lock together, we know that they're going to be perfectly level. So I'll just show you now with the level. So there you go. Get your base right and the rest will fall in line. Right, so the walls are all up now. Phil's passing up the 5x2 roof timbers. These are currently at 3.6 long, which is about what we need with the overhang on the front and the back. So what I'm doing here now is I'm working out how much of an overhang we need. So bearing in mind we've got another 5x2 going on the end to create like a framed edge, which is then simply means that we can nail our soffit and fascia boards where we want them to be, rather than having to work out where these joists are and get them nailed into the end. So yeah, we put an end trimmer on. So I know that the thickness of these is 47 mil, so I've allowed for 47 mil. Our soffit board is 100 mil, so we've got that 47 mil at the front plus the 53 mil into this, and our wall covering at the back is the aluminium cladding, which has a profile of, I think it's just 30 mil. So we've got that 30 mil, and then we've got our 100 mil soffit board. So when I measure back from here, I want this to sit against our OSB at 80 millimeters. Like I said, then we've got that bit on the front plus our profile here, just means that we've got 100 mil of soffit on show, if you like. So yeah, I've marked that where that is there. I'll just square that across, and I'll do this with every board on the roof. So then when I stand that one up, I can push that against my OSB, fit that there. So what I'll do now is I'll screw underneath this wall plate up into the timber, and then we'll put on some joist hangers upside down. They'll be nailed to the side of this, nailed to the wall plate, basically just to strap the roof timbers down, so that's not going to go anywhere then. Yeah, so we'll go along and do all of that at the front, and then we'll measure the front. So our front overhang is 300 millimeters. I'll do exactly the same process here at the front as I have at the back, and then we'll cut off any if we need to. I don't think we will need to, because like I said, they're 3.6. This room is just over 3 meters, so we'll work out exactly what it is. And the front's having cedar, so cedar's 20 mil thick, and then we've got counter batten, which gives us an extra 50 mil. So we've got a 70 mil gap before our soffit starts. So we should be there or thereabouts with our 3.6 roof timbers. So that's the basic structure done. We've put a temporary roof over for tonight just in case it does rain. So that now is our 5x2s in place. Now, like I said, we need to put our joist hangers on upside down, which will then strap them basically to the building itself. So all we've done temporarily is just stick a screw under each wall plate up and into the roof joists. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today now. We've built the room basically all today. We started this morning with just the base, and we've got all the walls up. We've got the 2 openings, so we've got a French door there, and we've got a shed door there. There's going to be a stud partition between the 2. This side will be an office, that side will be a shed. So yeah, we'll crack on with it tomorrow. We'll go into a bit more detail in the roof structure tomorrow. We'll probably get everything noggined out, ready for installation, and first fix electrics.